Still making with Facebook.
Oh, are we live?
We're live, but we're waiting for Facebook.
Oh,
yet.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Amy. How's everybody doing today? We're going to be sewing a vinyl double zipper pouch that you can use for your projects. They come in 3 different sizes, but we're going to do the medium this morning.
There, everybody should be on.
All right. Well, let me know who's watching and where you're from.
We got Carol, Brenda, Lori, Peg, Marianne, and Cindy so far. Good morning to all of you guys.
Good morning.
And Tony is tuning in from across the ocean over in England.
Well, good morning. So let's see. This morning we're going to be doing this double zipper bag, and I know people sometimes are intimidated by zippers, but I'm going to show you it's not really that hard. And I am sewing on our brand new FOF Ambition 635. I am going to turn the machine around so you guys can see it. Oh, sorry. So there is the machine. It's got a touch screen so you can change to whatever stitch you want. But the coolest thing of all is once you've got it threaded, I just put it through this little plate right there, cut off any additional, and when I push down on this lever on the side, it threads my needle for me. Isn't that cool? So it's a really great kind of middle of the road sewing machine for FOF. All right, and I'm going to be sewing on it. Hopefully I still have everything where I wanted it to be. So we are making this morning, it's the Madeline Pouch by This and That. She has directions in here for 3 different sizes. There's the small, medium, or large. We're going to be making the medium. This is the medium size here. So for the medium, you need 3 different fabrics. You need a main fabric, and you're going to need a fat quarter. So I chose this red for my main fabric. You're going to need a fat 1/8 for the bottom accent. That's this blue. And you're going to need a fat quarter for your lining, the inside of your bag. And you can see up here, it's also in the zipper. So 3 different fabrics. You're also going to need some heavy fusible interfacing and some light fusible interfacing, plus 2 zippers. So I made a large bag yesterday, not realizing that my zipper was just a little bit too short. So make sure, depending on what size of bag you make, you have your zipper that's long enough. So this medium bag, right now, this is like a 15-inch zipper. We do cut it down in size, so this is a really nice size, but you're gonna need 2 zippers for the bag.
I'm going to say hi to good morning to a few more people here. Karen, Deb, Regine, Julie checking in from Minnesota. Cheryl again from Minnesota. Karen's from Papillion. Cece's out in the Omaha direction. Martha, hi, good morning. Cindy's checking in from bright and early from California, and Patty's also checking in from California. Karen, good morning. Catherine, made it up in time, good job. Georgina is watching. Marcia is watching. Marianne, again, she says that looks like a very nice machine. Kathy, Lisa, and Ellen. So I think that catches us up on everybody.
Well, great. I hope you guys are all having a good morning and having a nice breakfast. I had some blueberry donut holes this morning for breakfast. That was enough for me. We had some banana bread or banana cake here too, but I'll save that for later in the day. So the first thing you want to do is prep your stuff. So you're going to cut, so we have our 2 zippers. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric. Now I'm not going to give you dimensions because you can purchase the pattern from us. So if you are with us through Comment Sold, just type sold space 100. The pattern is $5. You can put that in your cart and then we will get that shipped to you. I've taken my lining fabric and I have fused onto it some lightweight interfacing for both sides of my inside lining fabric. And then this is what is kind of a, I don't know, I wouldn't call it tricky, but it kind of threw me off. So on my heavy interfacing, you take your main fabric, so see it's the red, and you're just going to fuse it on part of your heavy interfacing. Now make sure when you are pressing this fabric on, you don't touch the interfacing with your iron because you're going to make your iron sticky. But you're going to take both of your pieces of your main fabric and you're going to press them on the top, I would say top 2/3 of your interfacing. And then you also have your fabric for the bottom half of your bag. So you have that cut. You have another piece of fabric cut which becomes the handle. So I like to prep everything first, get it all ready to go, and then start assembling my bag. So for the handle, it was just a piece of fabric. You fold it. So I fold it in half, wrong sides together, then fold each half to the middle and then press it. And then I just sew, it's really kind of 1/8 of an inch down both sides. So I have my handle ready. And then you also need a piece of clear vinyl. Now this is the sew-in kind of vinyl. It's not a press-on or anything like that. So it's just your piece of vinyl. And this is what we're going to start to do for our bag assembly. So we're going to take one of our zippers. Then there were 2 other pieces of fabric which becomes our, attaches to our zipper. One of them I went and pressed, folded it into the middle and pressed. We're going to take one of these folds and hopefully you can see this on the table. I'm going to take my fold that one under, and I'm going to lay it right on the edge of the zipper. Now, I'm not going to go too close to the zipper head. I'm not going to go too close to the bottom, and I'm going to sew this right there alongside. I do have my zipper foot attached to my machine.
And you're starting and getting ready there. I'm just going to say good morning to Janice. Martha, don't let the bacon get cold. I'm on my way. Bacon, fried potatoes, and eggs for breakfast. Isn't that a Midwestern breakfast?
Wow.
Marianne had scrambled eggs, ham, and coffee. Good morning, Helen. Hopefully you're continuing to feel better. And good morning, Gladys.
Well, good morning, ladies. Those breakfasts sound delicious. So I've got my zipper foot on. I'm just attaching that fabric to the edge of my zipper. Making sure that stays folded over about 1/4 of an inch.
Lucretia, good morning.
And I do have a scissors on this machine, so I'll push that button to cut. All right, so I sewed that piece of fabric on the side of my zipper. Now there was another piece of fabric the same size, but instead of folding them both to the center, it was just one to the center. And I'm going to sew that on the other side. The only thing you'll have to watch is when you sew this on, make sure that it has lined up evenly with the top of your other fabric. All right, so I'm going to sew that one on. So I'm lining my fabric up even, putting it underneath my zipper foot. and sewing that one on.
Good morning, Bernie. Helen is sipping on some British blend tea.
Some what kind?
British blend.
Reddish blend?
British.
British?
Yes.
Blend tea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, very nice.
Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl, I know you're not gonna be able to hear me say it, but I think everybody else is hearing it. So if somebody wants to give Cheryl a message to maybe check on things on her end, because I believe everybody else has been able to hear us. So.
All right. So now we have our zipper, and we have both of our pieces sewed onto the edge of the zipper. So there, doesn't that look nice? Right with the zipper foot. Now this one of our fabrics we had pressed over for the fold. So we're going to attach our vinyl to that. So here's another trick I have. Now I know all of you guys are not using or sewing with fob machines, but I'm sure you all have it. This is a nylon or a Teflon foot. It does not stick. So when I take my sewing foot and I'm putting it over the vinyl, it's not going to stick to it. This is a great foot to have anytime you're working with kind of vinyl, bag fabric, things that stick. You're going to want to get one of these Teflon feet. So I'm going to take my zipper foot off, and I'm going to put my Teflon foot on. And I am going to sew this vinyl. I know it's hard to see because the vinyl is clear, but I have it on there, so when I sew it, this gets folded underneath and it becomes the front of my pouch. So I'm just going to line my vinyl up. My vinyl is on top of that piece, and I'm going to sew. And I'm going to line the vinyl up with the edge of my fabric. And make sure I'm at 1/4 inch. All right, this is where you talk, Randy.
All right, I didn't want to cut in on you. Megan is watching with Pam, Molly, and Megan. I guess that includes herself. And Evelyn is watching this morning also. So looks like we got Cheryl's sound issues taken care of. So
wonderful.
Thank you, Catherine, for letting her know that to do some checking there. So we appreciate that.
All right, so I sewed 1/4 inch down the edge of my vinyl, and then this just presses open. And since I had already pressed that fabric, you don't want to take the vinyl to your iron and press it because you don't want to melt it. But right there we have our zipper attached to the vinyl for the front of our bag. So now we take our front half, so we have our main fabric attached to the heavy interfacing. Randy, you're supposed to help me with those questions. I'm going to lay this on right side up, so they're both right side up, matching the fabric at the top. And what I like to do here is just put a few clips on the top to keep everything lined up right. Then we're going to take our bottom part of our bag, and now I've noticed that my vinyl doesn't come clear down to the end, so I'm going to adjust. I want my vinyl down to the edge of my fabric. So I'm just adjusting a little bit at the top. I'm going to put my other fabric, my bottom part on face down, and now I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way down. Whoop. So I'm going to take my Teflon foot off because now I'm not sewing on the vinyl, and I'm going to put my 1/4 inch foot on. I use a lot of different feet during the day as I'm sewing. So I have my 1/4 inch foot, so I'm going to have a perfect 1/4 inch guide.
You might notice that behind the presser foot and everything there, FOF has what we call the Idt System. Basically what it is a built-in walking foot. So that is exclusive to FOF brand machines.
Whoops, I'm not threaded. Something came undone. So let me thread this machine again quick.
So you get to watch the whole process here, except for you're on the wrong side to see it. So
real quick, it just goes in a little catch. I put it up through there, and we're gonna thread. See, no big deal because it's just a push of a lever and my needle gets threaded again. Okay, now let's try this again.
And if anybody has any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask.
There, that sounds better. Sewing my 1/4 inch seam. Cutting it off.
Cheryl, this is the FOF Quilt Ambition 635. It's a brand new model that has just came out here in the last couple of weeks. So it's a brand new anniversary model machine. It's FOF's 160th anniversary this year.
All right, so I've sewed that on. I'm going to press that down, and then I'm just going to trim. See, I'm a little bit over here on the side. I started just a little bit in. It's a little harder to sew standing up, and I'm going to trim off this extra. Now I'm going to do the same thing. This was our other one we had. I'm going to lay right sides down, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam.
Brenda, if you want to contact me about the price of the machine, we can talk about that there. We may have some pricing that I can't talk about out loud over the over the air here. So please call the store and we can get your pricing on that. And then also we would love to, but with our contract through FOF, we are only able to sell the new machines right here in stores. So if there's any previously loved machines, we can certainly sell those to you and ship them to you, but the brand new machines, we can only sell them in store.
All right, so I am just pressing that down. I'm going to do the same thing with the ear. I think with this one, because I don't want to get this on my iron, and I don't have a ruler right with me. That's okay. I am just going to cut this and press it.
Thank you, Peg. Yes, we are FOF sewing and embroidery dealers here, so we can take care of any of your sewing and embroidery needs, all the way from the FOF Creative Icon 2 all the way down to the entry-level machines.
I'm just going to trim this off along the edge.
Martha goes, does the fabric come with the pattern or can you use any fabric?
You can use any fabric you want. So it uses, if you're making this medium-sized bag, you just need a fat 1/4 for your main fabric. so that's your red. You need a fat eighth for the bottom fabric. And you need a fat quarter for your lining and your zipper, so the green up here. And then you need some heavy fusible interfacing and some light fusible interfacing and 2 zippers. So that's what you're going to need for your medium bag. All right, so we have completed. Here's our zipper with our vinyl in the bottom part of our bag. Oh, I got to trim this one off. And we have our other part of our bag. So I'm just going to trim this bottom part of the interfacing off here. Now I'm checking my pattern because I've made this just a couple times and I don't want to get you guys screwed up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to prepare the other zipper. Now it says in the directions what size zipper that you need. So you start with the big zipper and we're going to cut it down and we're going to put zipper tabs at the end. So I know I want my zipper. First, I'm just going to cut off the edge down here at the bottom. And it tells me the size I need my zipper. Rule number 1, make sure you don't cut that zipper head off when you're making your zipper shorter. So we're going to cut it off at what size it says.
I am going to interrupt you, Amy. The vinyl does not come with the pattern, is that correct?
Right.
So you need to purchase the vinyl separately.
Right.
And how much vinyl did they need?
Not very much. You are just going to need a 6-inch by 15-inch clear vinyl.
Okay. Good morning, Rhonda.
So I prepared my zipper tabs. I'm going to put those, first I'm going to put at the bottom of my zipper, and I'm just going to sew right across it so it catches.
Rhonda, we do not have any kits available for this morning, but we certainly could put something together for you if you would like us to. So, but we do not have anything on the show today. It is just the pattern only. So if you're interested in the pattern, it is $5. Am I right with that, Amy?
$5.
And it's sold space 100. Good morning, Tammy.
Alright, so I've cut my zipper to the length it said, and I have put both of my end zipper tabs on. And then what I do is look for my big scissors. Just a minute, I'll be right back.
Good morning, Julie. Julie, I had to look at your picture there just to make sure, but I believe Julie is our friend over at Patchabilities.
Oh, hi, Julie.
So good morning to you. We do a lot of the patchability patterns for our appliques. So nice to see you tuning in this morning, Julie.
All right. Oh, look, I'm going to be Eleanor Burns. We're just going to throw that over my shoulder.
And one of my big pet peeves.
All right, so we've made our zipper. See, zippers are not so hard. So how I do this. All right, so we're going to take our inside of our bag. We're going to lay that down. I'm not going to need this anymore. And then I'm taking my zipper. I'm putting that there on the bag. Okay, I just got to read this to make sure I'm showing you the right thing. And then we're going to take our top of our bag. And here's my handle. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to put it right underneath. Now it's up to you. Do you want it on the side where the front of the zipper or the back? I don't think it matters. I'm going to put it right underneath my zipper. Are we going to show Julie what we have?
Yes, we're going to show everybody so they know that they can go into our comment sold store and see what we featured on our Treat Yourself Tuesday this week.
Okay.
Also, I was going to remind everybody that we have changed our minds, and we are going to do some sort of a mini Treat Yourself Tuesday on Tuesday night. It's going to be an abbreviated one. So we would love it for you to tune in and watch us this Tuesday night. We're going to do it remotely from our hotel room in Des Moines. So.
All right, so here's what I'm doing. I took this is the lining of the bag, and I took that zipper that I just made with my zipper ends, and so your zipper is smaller, it's not as wide as your backing, so I'm leaving a little bit of an edge on it. This is so it's easier to sew, and you don't have to sew through that. And then I am just using my clips and clipping it to the top. Then I'm going to take the one bag that I made that's just plain, so here's the top of my fabric and the bottom part of my bag, and I'm going to line that up. And I am going to sew a 1/4 inch across that top. So I just transfer my clips so I've got everything clipped. And I'm going to sew my 1/4 inch.
Lori, our lake season is about done. We need to go up and close down is about what we have left at the lake this season. So we'll be making another trip north for that here probably next weekend sometime.
Okay, if you saw me, I kind of moved my zipper head so it's easier to sew. Then when I get close to it, I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to raise my foot up, and I'm going to slide that zipper head back the other way so I can continue sewing.
But I will remind anybody that if they do feel they need to do some shopping anytime, that they can always go on our comment sold store, or they can also go on to our website and purchase from there, and we will ship it right to your door.
So when I open that up, there's my zipper attached to the front. I'm going to finger press that down, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to top stitch it so it lays nice and looks professional on there. Got a little bit wonky on me. That's all right. If I was sitting down and taking my time and doing this slow like you guys would be doing, you weren't going to have that issue. So yeah, got a little bit wonky. That's okay. So now that's the inside of my bag, the outside of my bag. Now I'm going to go over here to the other side that has the vinyl. I have hooked my handle where I want it. Now I'm going to take the inside of my bag, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to sew right across the top 1/4 inch. Transfer my
Marianne and Catherine are talking about they won't have to go to the bank to get a loan this week, so.
Because we're not doing Treat Yourself Tuesday.
And Helen says we're all a little bit wonky, so.
Some days are worse than others. All right, so I sewed my inside to the bag. I'm gonna fold that back. Now you can certainly press that if you want. Now what we're going to do is sew our bags together. So I'm going to go right sides together. And you're going to sew all the way around, and for time purposes and for this machine, I'm going to sew all the way around, and when you turn it right side out, you've got your bag like this. So you've got your main zipper that was here that we attached at the beginning with our vinyl, and then we had our top zipper that we just attached. And when you sew all the way around and turn it right side out, you're going to get your bag like this. So really simple, you're just sewing through a few extra layers when you go back to do it this way. And then when you turn it right side out, you've got your bag. All right, so it is the Madeline Pouch by This and That. 3 different sizes, small, medium, large. Actually, let me grab you the large bag and I'm gonna show you what it looked like from yesterday.
Actually, Marianne, in a way, my wheelbarrow isn't empty because there is also you can also use Zezel if you have larger purchases, and then you can split that up over 4 different payments.
So this was the medium bag that I just showed you. This was the large bag that I made yesterday. So there is a huge difference in the size of the bags, and then you can also do a small bag. So here was the large bag that I did, still same way. You have your zipper with your vinyl. And then your main for the inside of your bag.
Helen says no boxes bottoms.
No, no boxed bottoms. These are just solid or just straight bags. All right. And from the Madeline Pouch, so the large one was 10 by 14, the medium is 8 by 10, and the small was 5 by 7. So nice size bags. You can make all 3 of them with this pattern. Any questions?
I don't think so. A lot of compliments. And so we thank you, everybody, for tuning in this morning. Good morning, Lori. And Lori says excellent project bags for sew days. So. Oh,
excellent. And what it's really nice is to have this little piece of vinyl. You can keep your pattern in the front so you know what's projects in the bag. So if you wanted to do the large one, you could just put your pattern in the front, and now you know what you have in there.
We have you taken care of, Peg. Peg is going to be up to see us next week, so.
Wonderful. All right. Well, that's what I have for Sewing with Amy. Hopefully you guys can make a Madeline pouch of your own in whatever size you want and whatever look you want. I have a little Halloween, and this one's kind of a little bit of Christmas.
And Bernie, we do have some zippers here.
We do.
So you can contact us here at the store.
We have our zipper size would be for the medium bag. I've made this work for the long bag, but I could have used a little longer zipper. So we don't have the zippers available for the big, but we do for the small or the medium. And several different colors.
All right. right, I don't see any more questions for right now, so thank you everybody for tuning in on this Friday morning. Hopefully you have a great weekend, and it's a kind of a cool rainy morning here, light rain, so
if you're in the area, stop in and see us, and if not, Randy and I will be back on Monday with Happy Hour with the Healy's.
And then Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central, we will have an abbreviated
remote Treat Yourself Tuesday.
Exactly.
And it'll be a special one, so you guys will have to tune in and watch. All right, have a wonderful day. Hopefully you're...
Oops, let's show this quick.
Okay, so Julie was watching. Is she still watching?
I don't know.
Julie from Patch Abilities, every week we do one of her appliques, and she does such a great job on her patterns, and we laser cut and pre-fuse. So this is the one we have this week for Halloween. So our patterns from her include the button pack. You see the eyes of the spiders are buttons, and there's this little face button on the bottom of the exclamation point. It includes all your fabric for your front and your binding and the laser cut pre-fused appliques. So we bring a new one every week and showcase all of Julie's latest appliques.
All right. Yes, Julie is watching. She says super cute colors. So, and
We try, Julie.
And that's what's nice about it. You can either pick your own colors and just get the pattern itself, or you can go with what we had and
do the kits.
Yes. So, all right. I think that is everything, I believe. If I missed any questions, please reach out to us. We would love to answer them for you.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Work on something that makes you happy.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.